Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this week. Kevin, you kind of left us in a tight spot last time.
On Critical Hit.
Critical Hit.
Yeah, you guys definitely get yourselves into some tight spots. You have no one to blame but yourselves.
Really?
Well,
Really?
I think we mostly have to blame Talos
Yeah.
and Glitch.
And maybe the, Sabotag company.
Yeah.
okay, so there's plenty of blame to go around. If you want to be technical about it, fine. But yeah, so last time
On Critical Hit.
Hit.
I'm not going to say it. I'm still mad about you blaming me.
You had due to sabotage, you had been delayed in joining the next leg of the Drifters race. Delayed so much, in fact, that all the other competitors finished or were disqualified by the time you arrived, meaning you finished last and were immediately disqualified. You guys just had the massive hollow screens that are all distributed on these little buoys out in space, blaring this to the galaxy mere moments ago, when you get an urgent priority message from a nearby ship, and sure enough, it's Rain, and she wants to board.
Open the radio frequencies. Meanwhile, set all the nukes to destroy our competition.
Don't think we have nukes.
Deploy the gremlins.
Let's get some nukes.
Let's not deploy the gremlins just now. Let's see what happened.
Hello, Rain.
The radio response is actually silent. The indication is a request for boarding immediately.
She's got to be real pissed at us.
Allow her to dock.
Yeah.
Beep, beep. Yeah. There's a little shuttle from one of the passenger massive viewing vessels nearby, and she must have hopped in it immediately upon your arrival for her to be here so quickly. And she docks, and then suddenly your Lashunta patron is on board and stomping up to the bridge, where she just immediately launches into a tirade. I can't believe you! I put everything in this! You were supposed to be here hours ago! We had a head start and everything!
We were
Sabotagged. We our ship nearly got destroyed, and we had to dock for repairs in the diaspora.
You think that matters to anyone? No one cares.
Well, I'm just explaining to you what happened. I'm pretty pissed off myself, I gotta say.
You're pissed off. This was all I had left. This was supposed to make things right. What are we going to do now? And she just collapses on one of the nearby chairs. And after a moment, you look her over. So Rain is older than basically any of you, and she's tough as nails. She's a legend in Drifters and pop culture in general. And she's not really that old. She's only 20 years ago, she was a young hotshot, and Lashunta's age comparably to humans. So she's in her low 40s, and she's been successful enough to afford medical coverage for most of her life. But right now, she looks rough, really, really rough.
Everybody, go ahead and throw or kick whatever you need to get that out of your system. Let's try and get to work. Quentin?
Yes.
I need you to pull up all the information you have on the bureaucratic side of Drifters and see if we can make any sort of appeal to the rules committee, multi-eyed starfish or whatever they have working for that.
Accessing
Everybody else,
handbook.
yeah, everybody else start thinking of other ways in which we can start to get back into this. I'll hang out with Rain for a bit.
Can we just do the circuits and try to stay in on the technicality that we weren't eliminated? Like we weren't destroyed?
That's good. Look that up. See if we can actually just kind of compete it as a time trial.
Yeah, if there's like a loser bracket or something like that. Amu, could you get something for Rain? Also, Rain, it's not a total loss. We found Zem.
Them? Them still alive?
Well, actually not anymore. But she was alive when we found her. And we got some info? I don't suppose you speak Infernal?
No. So Hecubino, you're over by Rain.
Mm-hmm.
So she is naturally a very handsome Lashunta woman with strong features. So her haggard look is actually quite striking, as though she was an actress, basically like putting on the role of a strung out Pastor Prime drifter. Only after sitting with her for a moment, you don't think she's acting at all.
Right. No, I get putting on it.
Are you trained in sense motive?
Yeah.
Actually, regardless, just give me a sense motive check.
17.
Yeah. So, you note that she's actually broadcasting her emotions slightly in that almost imperceptible way that Lashunta can kind of manipulate the moods of people around her. She's exuding anxiety. So for the rest of the team, whether you notice her psychic emanations or not, you all feel like you're tottering at the precipice of a void of despair that's about to suck you in.
Yeah, I'll try to shield up from that and motion the rest of the team to go find a workstation to try out their theories.
Bob's just going to stay at the controls where he's at and utilize the computer system there.
Sure.
I'm going to see if there's a way I could hail Talos.
What are you going to What are you going to say to him?
Oh, just going to chew him out because
Don't do that. Don't do that yet.
All right. Can I maybe talk to Team Rust Dragon?
What are you going to tell them?
That we're DQ'd and see if they want to. I don't know if they've got something we might be able to. If we still want to try to keep up with Rain's mission, we might be able to make some deal with them if they're still in it.
Yes, talk to Rust Dragon and just see what they say.
Sure.
All right. Don't you toss out any ideas?
Oh yeah.
Yet. If they
should we talk to Crystal? Quentin, are you on Crystal?
I can be.
Yeah, check in with Crystal. See if you need to what the deal is there. Because if she actually you got the official in, be all official.
So, Quentin, speaking of that, your embedded infosphere connection, and then for everybody else, your data pads and other infosphere connected devices are suddenly full of notifications. Your fan base is just at that beginning phase of tearing itself apart in recriminations and conspiracy theories.
Sure.
And Quentin, Crystal Wiles has already sent over the terms of your 20-year unpaid non-compete. Other people like Big 313 and Ursa and the Trash Wyverns are also reaching out to you guys wondering what happened. Big 313 evidently wagered his life savings on you all, so I guess it's indentured servitude forever for him.
Right.
Twist that knife a little harder there, Kevin. Hurtful.
So I think I know what Hecubino is doing. I think I know what Vangi is doing. Quentin, what are you doing exactly?
So I just got fired.
Yeah, you've technically your termination paper. You still need to sign all the termination agreements, but yeah.
All right, I definitely want to tear apart anything in the rulebook. I'm going to look for the biggest loop of loopholes ever. I am going to look for twisted justifications worthy of, I don't know, certain modern day internet sites. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it up. I'm looking for anything and everything dating back to the beginning of Drifters in the year 1857, when it was just 5 guys throwing
Sounds
mumble
good. How about Skritic? What are you doing?
Largely just going to be lurking nearby, waiting for any orders and or getting ready to bolt to the nearest escape pod if there's any danger.
Cool. And don't forget, if you're near Rain, she, again, whether you notice it or not, she increases like the tension in the room. Amu, what are you doing?
We all have access to that infernal message, right?
Yeah, I mean, nothing. Yep, you do.
Amu's gonna go start learning infernal, if that's an option, since we have like 6 languages that I haven't decided on yet.
Neat. That seems like a good one to learn.
Bob is going to plot out just look at the race course that was just run, and I'm going to review all of the markers, all the twists, all the turns, and commit everything to memory, because I know that there's a way out of this, and I want to be planning ahead for when we get to do this race.
See if you can get someone else disqualified on a technicality.
Yeah, maybe. Or I think there's another thing that we may have up our sleeve that whoever was holding that bottle in their hand. But yeah, I'm just gonna memorize the track down to the micromillimeter.
Oh, neat. It was a really cool track full of inventive stuff that I'm not going to get into at all here, but it was super creative, and whoever came up with it, truly A+ work.
Well, I will shelve this away then for another time. I appreciate the work that went into this this leg of the race.
Do you need a sling there, Kevin? Because it looked like you really dislocated your arm, patting yourself on the back there. I'm just saying.
You mean for the race I didn't write? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No. So, how about Vangi? Are you reaching out to the new team Rust Dragon?
Yep.
All right.
Were they in that race?
Oh, yes, they were.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll reach out to Red Iron.
Red Iron accepts your message with visuals. Their ship, the Goliath, is evident. It's like a massive steamwork mess inside, despite obviously having much more advanced technology. It looks at like a U-boat from 1910, and it looks like they've taken significant damage from what you can see from the visuals he's transmitting, and it's all on some sort of like red filter spectrum visuals. And he gruffly answers, "What?"
Well, we missed the race.
Yeah, I noticed.
So, wanted to see what happened.
We got run off the track.
By who?
Brain power.
Yep, that's what happened to us. We got sabotaged. Team up to screw over Talos?
Yeah, we're in.
Sweet.
But we're all disqualified anyway, so.
Yep. Well, let's figure out we're figuring out what we can do to fix that. If you need any help, if you got any ideas on your hand, we'll take them, but we're going to try to figure out if we can get back in the race somehow.
Yeah. Everybody always wants back in the race after they're DQ'd. Good luck with that.
What are your plans then?
Repairs. It's always going to be another rebuilding year for Team Rust Dragon.
Well, hold tight. Think about it. We'll see what we can do for you.
I'll put aside our disagreement for a while to get revenge, though.
Yeah. Sounds great.
All right. Red Iron out.
Thank you out.
Akibino, back to you.
I will try to stabilize Rain.
How are you doing so?
I will do it by putting a hand on her shoulder. She's like sitting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
So
mostly like, and by sitting, I mean like collapsed, like
yeah,
all her
on the
muscles are loose, and yeah.
yeah. So Hecubino will basically squat by her and put a hand on her shoulder, and then communicate with her mostly psychically, so as to kind of provide us like a more soothing environment for a naturally psychic person. I'll convey some of the stuff that we found. Basically saying, here's the stuff that we found. At least this investigation can continue, even if we can't get back into the race. I'll also convey not the current state of our fandom, but maybe some previous stuff, saying like monetarily we can still milk this. We can make appearances and stuff. And also, we're working on it, and we're gonna try and find a way to get back into the race.
Cool. Why don't you make a diplomacy check?
That's the worst out of the three. But I got a 22, so that's decent.
Nicely done. You can give me another sense motive check as well while you're at it, just to read her. She's also pretty easy to read right now.
Sure. 18.
Great. So, a couple of things. She shows interest in the investigation, but she's on like the edge of catatonia. She looks really worn thin. So she can follow you when it's something she seems to really care about, or she starts to tune you into like kind of background noise, which isn't the end of the world. But when you're talking about like money, she seems to not care at all and just go deeper and deeper. So holding out some faint glimmer of hope seems to be working, but she is otherwise seems to be in the process of like psychologically regressing into herself and just retreating from the world. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just need for her to hang on, so that she doesn't become completely, so that she doesn't just completely despair, and then she actually becomes a hindrance to her own goals as well. So I'll just try to keep her hanging on, and again, I'm trying to get her stable to where she's not catastrophizing, like, to where she's got like something and she's thinking about something else. Like I'm gonna get her some food. Like, I'm just gonna make sure that like her blood sugar or whatever the Lashunta equivalent is stable and everything. Like, I'm just going to I'll have Amu like slap a bracelet on her to like keep track of her vitals, because we know that she's kind of an addict, so she's probably physically not doing great either.
Yep. Amu, do you do anything in particular when Hecubino brings her over to you, or brings you over to her?
He's just asking me to keep her calm and make sure that she's we are able to track her.
Keep her calm and physically stable, right? Because she's got an addiction, so that can like withdrawal or just the scratchies can like wreak havoc on somebody.
We'll actually see if we can make up a compound that mimics what the addiction gives without causing additional harm, and lets the addiction
Venom stick methadone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you go ahead and give me a life science check.
Life
or
science.
medicine actually.
That's a good one. Of course, that's a good one. Why wouldn't it be a good one?
I mean, I'd hope so.
You are the doctor, right?
We hired you to be a medic, so I mean,
27.
Yeah, that's really good. Venom sticks are a huge upper. They stimulate a variety of different glands that cause people to, overproduce things like adrenaline. But the wear and tear that it suffers is noticeable. It basically turns your nerves into like exposed nerves, and repeated use, especially over time, can make someone jittery, prone to basically mood disorders, and anxiety is an extremely common side effect, and that's without a personality profile that also might have a predisposition towards anxiety or other disorders like it.
And also a recent catastrophic event that would trigger that even in somebody who wasn't clinically anxious.
Yep, exactly. So you're basically dealing with a perfect storm type situation on the mental health / physical health front here. Also, Lashunta have a weird, because your medicine is so excellent, they have an interesting feedback loop where mental health issues can quickly turn into physical health issues for them if left unattended.
See.
Her physical situation could cascade badly based off of depression and anxiety.
All right.
As for giving like a stick that you probably don't want to do anything that's like a venom stick, but you do want something that can maybe like turn off some of the same receptors and things like that just to calm her down.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you do with that extra information?
Store it away for dealing with Lashunta in the future. Mostly. But we will make a salve that can help soothe all the nerves that I'm assuming are going crazy for her. Our venom sticks basically work like cigarettes or otherwise?
Yeah, although they can also be just injected.
Have we seen her use them?
You saw the telltale signs of venom stick use in one of your previous meetings with her.
Like she came in really depressed and then went to the bathroom and came out like super upbeat.
And aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And twitchy. Yeah.
Mostly we're looking for the actual something to simulate her doing them without actively doing them.
Absolutely. So you're quite good at this because you're just a master of pharmacology in general. So why don't you give me a life science check?
Do we know if she's a tough Lashunta or a skinny Lashunta?
She is a tough one.
Okay.
That's good.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
all right. Yeah, that's a natural one. I see that, Amu. So you briefly go down a bad path of things that you think would work and don't at all. Fortunately, Hecubino is there to kind of bail you out. So what type of substance do you administer, and how does it go catastrophically wrong?
Basically, instead of creating a numbing salve, it's an icy hot thing. So instead of getting lesser feeling, she's getting all sorts of extra terrible things for raw nerves.
And Hecubino, what do you do when she starts freaking out about the patches that Amu's applying to her?
Hecubino is going to go into like he'll take it for serious. Like he'll find something and like stick it in her mouth so she doesn't like bite her tongue while she's freaking out, and like will just straight up like stun her psychically.
Days. Cool. So with your combined efforts, you can help calm her down, and she kind of goes into a limp catatonic state for a bit, where she's paying some attention to the world around her, but she's mostly like the things she's saying are kind of nonsensical, and she doesn't even seem to be really talking to you. She actually seems to be apologizing over and over again. Anyway, over to Quentin. Quentin, why don't you give me a computers check as you're going through all the various rules and regulations and also the Drifter's back catalog.
I am a computers, you know. That's all I'm saying. However, this is not my best number. Oh, that's a bummer.
Coming in the clutch, lizard brain. Good.
It says here.
Look, we're all
that
under the
drifters
influence
are
of
forbidden to
Rain's
speak to
psychic
each other
trauma.
during transport.
It's having its toll.
Certainly. Drifters are responsible to report to the producers any situation that might compromise the safety of their contestants or personnel on location, such as infractions or diseases. Ooh.
So basically, Quentin winds up going down a rabbit hole of legalese, which he's not actually super proficient in.
How dare you, sir?
And well, I mean, unfortunately, it just keeps going. So Quentin, and like he starts maybe muttering to himself, just like he did a moment ago.
Medical evacuation in season 27 in the midst of a reward challenge.
Which doesn't help anyone or anything as he rolls that natural one on his computer's check. However,
you're not allowed to burn another Drifter's hat.
Only a hat with the Drifter's logo on it. Other hats are fine.
I'll like slowly put my thumb on the side of Quentin and then turn it counterclockwise.
Breaking the rules would result in forced expulsion from the game.
His volume decreases somewhat.
I'm just going to turn him down a little.
So
question may face prosecution at limited time.
So Skritic and Bob, you guys have been sitting around like watching this mess. Do you do anything at this point?
Anything we can do to help out?
Yes. You two look over Bob, you've been looking over the course.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very well designed. Very challenging.
And did you find any aspect that could have additionally disqualified somebody else?
Not at the moment, but I have a feeling that if we were allowed to run this race, I would nail it.
Okay, good. Why don't you and Skritic go over it again, see if you can find anything at all that we could use to try and disqualify one of the other teams. Because if we get 3 disqualifications, they might throw out the race altogether.
All right. I'll review the tapes and see if anybody cut corners illegally, if anybody changed any routes or routes for the other team players that may have been outside of the rules of Drifters.
Yeah, so I'll speed things up a little bit. A few minutes go by. You run your course of trying to find loopholes in the contract, Quentin, and you could hire some lawyers to examine it, but your gut reaction is that basically a lawsuit against the company. You're at a huge disadvantage. Being independent contractors who already have a contract with a company. And like the rules of Drifters are kind of still whatever they say. Like they can make it. It's an entertainment program that they can adjust on the fly no matter what. So you're not entitled to anything.
Clearly we need to kill all of them.
Bob, maybe you could touch base with Red Iron. They could maybe share their logs in exchange for some repair help.
Sure.
They are. Team Rust Dragon is as amenable as you've ever seen them to your team. they're still a bit shell-shocked themselves, but they've had a few more minutes to adjust to it than you guys, having actually competed in the race.
Yeah, they saw it coming.
So, Rain settles down. She kind of stabilizes and comes to a little bit, but she's still, for her, very passive. Like, normally, she's the dominant personality in a room, and she seems to be willing to, like, sit quietly in the back right now, which is something else.
That's probably good.
So what all do you guys do?
I'll get the bottle from Amu and try and ascertain its exact properties.
Sure. Why don't you give me a mysticism check?
31.
Oh, wow. That's an excellent check. So you think that this was deliberately made specifically by a witch warper like Lizem to sub out, like, alter reality ever so slightly for the people who consume it, to basically undo something like a get out of jail free card, but only for a very specific circumstance, which is basically an agreement or a contract or something like that. It could not undo. It doesn't time travel. It just prevents something. It, like, prevents a binding. Now the manifestation of its prevention is it's actually subbing out. You're instantaneously changing universes with yourself from another dimension that is like yourself in all ways, except that you didn't make the agreement, you think.
Oh. So it would be a way to maybe, if you made an agreement and you got something from someone, like, you could bail out of paying by drinking it and just being like, oh, we actually never get the agreement, but we still get the stuff? Or is it like the agreement itself basically ceases to be retroactively as well?
Well, no, the agreement. So this is one of those weird things where it's a very probably hard to create item with a very narrow use case, because it doesn't alter anyone's memories. It doesn't alter the actual flow of time. It just subs out you, the drinker. So for a contract that is magically enforced, that's incredibly valuable. For a contract that's just enforced by people, if you break it, then you're fired, or we send hitmen after you, it has essentially no value.
Oh, okay. All right. Good
It
to
looks
know.
like it was the work of it looks very, very challenging to have created this.
It just gets around the Eclipse aura, is what you're telling me.
Yes. It gets around the Eclipse cast ability. One person could, depending, you think that there's enough in the bottle for about 7 doses.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, Hercubino, I've gotten maybe an idea.
Okay. I'll type all this out and send it to everyone, because I assume that some of them might be interested and some of them don't care at all, and I don't want to, like, interrupt what everybody's doing. So I'll send all that out in my notes. And I'll go over to where Vangie is.
So we could go talk to Talos's parents?
Mm-hmm.
Because they still don't presumably want him in the race, and the race is only going to get more dangerous going forward. Or maybe we could try to, like, bust up the mind control that Talos has got on some of his people, and see if we can get him to, like, basically have to forfeit. Because if he has to forfeit, then, like, maybe a slot opens up.
Yeah, that's 3 teams out at once.
Yeah.
Is there any precedent for that sort of thing, Kevin? Not the individual, like, kicking Talos's butt, or like 2 teams fighting. I mean, like, have they ever lost so many teams that they have to either take one back or open slots for trials?
Why don't you and Vangie give me culture checks?
'Cause I'm bad
And
at those.
Quentin, you can give me a culture check as well, but it's slightly different than theirs.
Mighty good at that. Ooh, 21.
All right. Yeah, Hecubino, you remember one episode of Drifters where there was one team that won, and they were just like, "Yep, one team wins. Everybody else disqualified." That's sometimes how it falls on Drifters. You never know what you're gonna get. Vengi, something you're like, yeah, but wait a minute. You remember watching episodes with Hecubino when you guys were kids, and there was weird stuff that happened when you were kids. It doesn't happen anymore as much, but like they played with the format a bit, and you can't remember all the details, but there was definitely some weird stuff.
She'll say, maybe. I wonder if they could mess with the format, or like if we could figure out if we can get them to do a loser round. Like they used to do something weird like that.
Yeah, other shows do that. When somebody charismatic gets booted off, usually due to like audience votes and things like that, or they like the person they're setting up as the heel gets unexpectedly loses a challenge, they'll have like a redemption round where like a bunch of eliminated people plus some new people will go head to head and try to get back in. But I don't remember Drifters ever doing anything like that. Then again, it might have been from one of those seasons that we skipped, because they had there was like that year where
with the strike, that was so worthless. When
Yeah,
like the courses were all like,
you remember that time when like they couldn't get any footage of the race, and so they had to like recreate.
yeah, they made a virtual simulation.
Yeah,
It was
so
so lame.
God. Anyway, maybe we can pitch that to them.
Worth a shot.
Yeah.
Quentin, your culture check is actually more about corporate culture, and you know that Extreme Infosphere Productions is certainly vulnerable to social media attacks. Basically, if you can get enough people behind something, they're likely to go along with it. Rules be damned. But in order to do that, like they need people and corporate people. Like they need people and credits. Those two things, they'll go along with whatever.
I will share that information with the group.
Guys, Vengi and Hecubino, if you wish, you could start going through some of the Drifters backlog with, say, Quentin, because Quentin got a little sidetracked there for a moment, but you think that it might be worthwhile to go through it.
No, we'll do that. Take some notes, like check out the forums, try to like, search around for precedent. And especially if like the fandom is freaking out, like I might even like basically brain outsource that to be like, any ideas how like to see if there's any people who are saying like, well, in this time, like maybe they can get back into the race, because probably some theories are bouncing around there too.
Awesome. Quentin, do you do anything in particular?
I'm going to take the time to anonymously fan the flames of fandom.
Nice.
I'm going to go. Boy, I can't use my first initial, can I? I'm going to go.
You cannot.
Definitely not.
Not acceptable.
No, agreed. But I will anonymously through 150 or 60,000 accounts start, protesting.
Nice. Drifters
Indicating to
fan
people
1621. Drifters fan 327B.
Yep. Drifters fan 5555445. Yeah. Bounding into Drifters, and we're all going to go out and we're going to start complaining. We're going to say how terrible it was. The Team Lizard Brain was hosed, that this is unfair, and that we need to hashtag save the lizard. No. We need to.
So you have to scroll through your fandom which is interesting. You deal with. Evidently, there's a whole bunch of slash fic for every member, every possible configuration.
Yeah, the Amu Skritic is probably the most disturbing.
I mean, that depends on what you're into. But there's this one poster that just posts absolute crazy, off the wall, nonsense conspiracy theory stuff, except they also post a link to a season 13 episode. Season 13 was a very strange one, where they did a down card, wild card race that was powered by audience voting. And it was based off of the unexpected disqualification of basically some audience favorites. So they made a wild card for that season.
Definitely.
You and Hecubino and Vangi all discover that jointly.
Signal boost. Get that out into the infosphere as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we can probably use it. Let's go ahead and try to get a hashtag for it. How about something like redemption round?
Ooh, I like it.
Yep. Hashtag redemption round. Demand the redemption.
And I'll touch base with Red Iron and Jasmine and Big 313 and everyone else who's kind of got skin in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make sure that they all know to amplify this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in touch with our sponsors.
Wait, you're going to get in touch with Space Suds? Rain comes to a little bit.
I was thinking of it. That and the guy we promised that we'd put him on our armor banners.
Well,
Baracus?
Yeah.
They're going to set a bounty for y'all.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. Space Suds breach a contract due to being a no-show. They'll probably try to squeeze whatever credits they can from you in one way or another.
Oh, boy.
Well, this might...
wait to see what kind of enforcement Space Sud sent after us. But yeah, what were you saying, Hecubino?
Legion of Squeebos.
Yeah, I'm going to try to convince them not to do that and see if we can save them the money on the bounty hunters by just coming back.
See if they'd be willing to put their corporate might behind us to get us back into the race because of the unusual situation. Make sure you show them
we deserve a clean start.
I mean, that's mainly what I was hoping for, that they'd be able to basically contract out some bots to, no offense, of course, to build up our web presence. For this specific thing.
You'll need backing, corporate backing. We need their marketing resources to astroturf some outrage on the social sphere sites. We need their credits.
That's right. I'll kind of tentatively hand Rain a data pad. Rain, do you want to work on some statements?
Sure. Yeah, I can work on that. If we could get Sheila, she'd be great at this.
Sheila?
Yeah, so Sheila is a popular werewolf streamer known for her bursts of indignant outrage that leave her home studio a devastated mess and increase the insurance premiums of her neighbors. She goes by the handle at like and subscribe.
Oh.
That's a good one. That is really great. That's probably the best joke I've ever heard.
I really appreciate that.
Quick check to see if it's available.
I will add here that I have my TikTok handle, like my personal TikTok handle, is the inferior Loop Guru, Loop Guru. So I appreciate the web werewolf puns.
There is somebody on YouTube that already has like and subscribe.
There's also someone on Twitter who has that and has a single follower. What a waste! What a waste!
I will confess, I got that from the subreddit DM Dad Jokes.
Nice.
Oh, it's very good.
All right. So anyway, So Rain has kept the Space Suds contact info to herself up until now, but she seems relatively amenable to. She's like, okay, and she shares it with you.
Okay.
By the way, the Space Suds brand executives I talked to in the past, they're all Jabubnuns, and that might be an issue for you.
Why is that?
Jabubnuns are really difficult to communicate with.
Oh, like you have to communicate with them psychically?
No, nothing like that. But they know common. They speak and such, but it's more of a lingo thing. They should be able to understand you, but you might need to improvise a bit when talking to them. If you're anything like me, you won't enjoy it at all.
Okay, good to know.
Quentin and Amu at Talagra.
Yeah, let me speaking of those two dorks, let me see what they know about. What are they called? Jabotmans?
Jabubnans. Jububnan. S for the plural. So who are you asking, Hecubino?
I'll ask Quentin and Amu what they know about Jabobnans.
Quentin, why don't you give me a culture check? And Amu, why don't you give me a life science check?
Do I even need to?
I mean,
There could be
sure.
on that one.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
I got a 20. They sound like frogs. Jabubnan.
They are frog people.
Are they?
Yes.
Rock! Man, I got to learn about Pathfinder before I start making stupid jokes.
This is Starfinder, though.
Quiet,
Same.
If you come in with a knowledge of Pathfinder, I think you'll do pretty well.
Yeah, there's a good amount of crossover.
Jabubnan.
Let's see here. Amu, you know that Jabubnans are unipedal frog people about 1.5 meters tall, so like 5 foot-ish. Their 1 foot is webbed and connected to their one extremely strong leg that they use to hop around. They're also excellent swimmers. Quentin, culturally, they're reclusive. They're not very outgoing at all, so not too much is known about them, except that they prefer like humid, hot climates. And they mostly stick to their own.
All right, I will put in a call.
They don't take... They'll accept a message.
I will say, hey, Space Uds execs, Hecubino here, with a good idea on how you can save yourself a bounty hunter salary. Hit me back, but not like that. Thanks.
So you get an immediate response from a like very low level AI that's like, you left a message. Did you want to schedule an appointment?
I'll say yes.
Awesome. You wanted to schedule an appointment. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. If you know your party's 19-digit extension, please enter it now.
I'll bring Quentin over. The 19-digit extension. Oh wait,
111 111.
not our. That's not like a matriculation of us. That's like if we're trying to find a person in particular in their system.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Did Rain give us that information?
Well, she didn't, but you could ask her for it right now.
Hey, Rain, do you know the extension of our person in up Space Suds?
Oh, she pulls out her data pad and hands it to you. Yep, there's one.
Okay.
111
Beep 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 boop beep 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 boop beep beep boop.
1112.
All right. Your appointment is confirmed. Please be on time. On time means early. Meet on the planet Arshalan. And there are coordinates for their corporate headquarters. Quentin, since you've been doing some digging in this and you're particularly good at it, why don't you give me a culture check?
Culture check. Culture check. I've got culture and I can check.
Well, in this particular case, the DC is actually 5 lower for you due to your theme.
24.
Excellent, which would be a 29 for anybody else. So, Space Suds is a brand name. It's not actually the name of a corporation.
Sure.
The corporation in question is Doctor and Scramble. They're a genetic research / biotech / personal hygiene / domestic cleaners / industrial lubrication and waste removal / advanced weaponry corporate entity. They're owned by Omnicorp, as you've mentioned before, which is a massive holdings and investment company that doesn't really mean anything in and of itself. Like, to say something's owned by Omnicorp has virtually no meaning.
Yeah.
But Omnicorp, so dedicated to corporate transparency, we're completely invisible. Omnicorp.
Why would you want to decide if you might get it wrong? Omnicorp.
And yeah,
Making
sure
life
enough,
convenient whether you like it or not. Omnicorp.
So Arshalan is actually the corporate headquarters of Doctor and Scramble. So Arshalan is a planet. Bob, you can quickly type it in as soon as it comes up. It's out in the vast, meaning it's not in Pact World space. It's somewhere else. And not in near space either, not where like the Viscarium is or like a common trade route. It's a different area altogether. And it's a marsh planet. You'll need to use the drift drive to get there, but it's on a known route, so you definitely could.
Okay, I'll share this information with everybody. It's kind of moist there, so make sure that we've got boots.
Okay. Step 1, we get those long-range comms fixed. Step 2, we head over there. And in the meantime, everybody who's not working on those two things is working on the grassroots OmniNet campaign.
Should we try reaching out to the Talos' parents?
Sure.
All right. You don't have the long-range comms enabled yet. So you could send them a message via like the infosphere and it'll get to them eventually, but
Worth a shot for now.
all right, what message do you leave?
This is the Squeaky Clean. Wanted to see if you still wanted to continue our deal and had any leverage or ideas going forward. We'd be happy to work with you.
All right. And who is that addressed to?
God, what's her name? Mrs. Talos.
Beth. Beth on Akaton. The only Beth on Akaton.
Mhm.
All right. Cool. What else do you guys do?
Work on project. Get the fans really angry.
Bob's plotting in. Yeah, Bob's plotting in the course so that we can go at maximum speed that our drift drive will allow us. And when we're ready to depart, we will depart.
So drift drives are, if you've seen like Battlestar Galactica or something like that, they're moving non-linearly through space. So they move through an alternate dimension, technically, that is like co-ops other pieces of planes if you want to get right down into the planar mechanics of it. But the better your coordinate projections, the less time it should take.
Okay.
It'll still be measured in hours, basically, no matter what you do. Hours to days. Hopefully hours.
Okay. I'll plug all that stuff in.
Why don't you give me a piloting check?
I will give you a piloting check. 34.
Nice. You think you can get the team there in 4 hours? That is excellent time.
All right. It should take us about 4 hours to get there. In the meantime, while we're popping through alternate space, Skritic and I can continue to work on the long range communication.
Let's go. Rain, you want to tag along, or can we drop you somewhere?
Sure, I'll tag along. I'm not up for talking to Jabubnans, though.
That's fine. We'll handle it.
She basically passes out.
Okay. We will probably actually just take her to the med bay. That seems like the place where she should be.
Sounds reasonable. We can take care of her.
You set her up with like an IV drip and such?
Yeah.
Good.
Hopefully something to help push any remnants of the venom sticks out as well.
Hopefully something to push out all the stuff we did to her earlier.
That too.
Good stuff. All right. So then you guys set course for Arshalan, the marsh planet of Doctor and Scramble, the owners of the brand Space Suds. And you plot your course, push it into the the drift drive, and you have 4 hours on your hands. Real quick, no more than like 1 or 2 sentences. What do you do, Vangie?
I'm just going to try to like glue myself to social media and monitor, look for ideas, stir up trouble.
Going along with that, Quentin.
Foment dissent. See if I can find anybody online who will work cheap and send out bots. Get all the social media people on our side.
Sounds good. Amu.
Spend time translating the message.
Learning Infernal, which you already had language open, and you're a fast learner. Sounds good. Let's go with Bob.
Working on the long range communications.
Yep. Skritic.
Open Bob.
And Hecubino.
Hecubino will work on a statement that simultaneously seems like makes us seem like gracious losers while also stoking the fans into a fervor.
Nice. Is there let's see. Can you give me either one line from it, or is there a particular skill check you want to make?
I could probably do both. Basically, we regret that we only got this one chance to make you smile and to root for the underdogs. Is kind of the crux of it, right? Obviously hinting that if there was another chance, well, that would be great.
Nice. All right. Give me an art diplomacy check, please.
Okay. Can I convince you to do a bluff check instead? Since I'm trying to sneak in some meaning here. Okay.
For sure. That is totally fine.
Well, I botch.
All right. Well, you're transparent in your aims.
Mhm.
but like you've got your friends boosting you with Quentin's 10,000 accounts, of which that one conspiracy theorist has identified 6,000 of them. It's like, I think that these 6,000 accounts all belong to Quentin.
That's okay.
But it doesn't matter. And Vangie as well. And, there's some real earnestness to your plea regardless that comes across. So with that, you guys pass the 4 hours en route to the Arshalan planet of Doctor and Scramble. And you are able to basically stay occupied the whole time without wallowing in the misery of recent disqualification. For Skritic, and actually, give me an engineering check, Bob.
Engineering check coming up.
And
23.
23. Skritic, go ahead and give me one as well, actually, now that I think about it.
Alrighty.
Your DC is lower than
Engineering.
you're assisting. But, okay. So it winds up being
28.
Bob assisting Skritic. So for the two of you, why don't you guys have a quick scene in vacuum while you're still within like the drift oval that protects you from going off into a random plane of existence, and you're making repairs to the ship, just the two of you.
All right, Bob's walking unencumbered with his magnetic boots, since he doesn't have to breathe, and is walking along up to the panel, and just having Skritic hand me the tools and double checking my work as we continue to repair the piece. This was not something I was expecting when I signed up for this race.
Can't say I was expecting a lot of things when I signed up.
You think we're going to get back into it?
I mean, as long as we keep flying, I don't know that I really care, but all we can do is try.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoy flying, and I enjoy flying in space a heck of a lot more than for flying on the home world.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to find a way to get money so I don't have to go back to being a taxi driver.
I mean, more or less the same. I'm not necessarily concerned about the financial situations, but pretty much a lot of things cost money. So
Yeah. And we'll continue to work on the system.
Nice. All right. So you are able to complete your repairs by the time you arrive at Arshalan.
Nice.
So,
We high five each other as the credits roll.
cool. So after a stressful several hours of disqualification and wondering if there's any possible way out, you guys see your last remaining hope, the marsh planet of Arshalan, as it is steadily being devoured by the Hexus industrial recycler units that are raising through its forest and wetlands for the raw material used by Doctor and Scramble. And we will leave off there as you dock in their corporate HQ.
Down with the bourgeoisie. That'll wrap it up for this installment of Critical Hit. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you have any questions, drop us a line, podcast@majorspoilers.com. If you want to hear what happens next, make sure you head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/majorspoilers. Until next time, here's hoping all of your dice rolls, whether they be physical or virtual, are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2021 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.